My name is Toby Lazier, and I'm the team lead for the brand team. So I'm just going to kind of jump into an agenda of kind of what we're going to talk about today. So really, we were presented with an issue for the brand of lean cuisine and kind of how we're going to come at solving that. So here's an overarching who, what, where, when, and why of how we're going to attack the problem, starting with team introductions. So again, my name's Toby and I'm the brand equity lead for Healthy Valley. I also have two activation team members, Julia and Nicole. Oh, and three consumer insights team members. The consumer insights coordinator is Sabrina, and she'll be speaking today as well. And Abby and Sebastian make up the rest of the consumer insights team. And all together, we make Healthy Valley. So now I'll pass it off to Kenzie to introduce our agency team.
Yeah, thanks, Toby. So like Toby said, I am the Captivate account leader. On strategy analytics, we have Julia Detta. And then for creative, Stephen and Jake. So I'm going to pass it back to Toby to explain why we're doing this.
Go ahead, your next one. Sorry, we're working with some technical difficulties, but that's okay. So the brand issue that was really given to us overarching was, do we want to build on the history of the brand as lean cuisine is really known well as a legacy brand, or modernize it and take on some more modern and updated strategies in reaching the consumer? So the three kind of areas in which we want to attack in this problem was through the target consumer, the product, and communication. At the end of the day, reaching the goal of developing a consumer validated, financially feasible recommendation that outlines how lean cuisine could relaunch the brand toward the millennial market. So kind of to start with the target consumer, I'll pass off to Sabrina, our consumer insights coordinator, to talk a bit more about how we chose our target market and who that target market is.
Thank you, Toby. So when it comes to our target market in the past, lean cuisine was mainly targeted toward an older consumer. But as sales have been declining, we decided it would be beneficial to spread our target. So to be clear, we don't want to get rid of that older target demographic, but because lean cuisine is a legacy brand, we just want to include it and merge it with a new, younger demographic, which is millennials. So how did we come up with this new target demographic? So from our secondary research, we found that millennials make up 25% of the US population and wield about $1.3 trillion in annual buying power. Regarding their lifestyles, USA Today reports that over 60% of millennials surveyed say their generation is more focused on health than any other generation. And research done by the US Department of Agriculture reports nearly 70% of millennials reported buying some form of prepared food in the past 7 days. In our primary research, we ran 2 focus groups with over 30 participants total and conducted 25 interviews. From this research, we gathered that millennials value dependable, healthy meals as well as convenience to fit in with their busy lifestyles. Millennials are financially conscious and tend to avoid spending money ordering in or eating out during the week. Next, frozen meals provide them with a quick and dependable alternative to spending over 20 minutes meal prepping. Millennials are looking for that low-calorie, easy option that they can reach for during their lunch break or before hitting the couch after a long, stressful day. And finally, they're striving for that work-life balance. They'd rather spend any extra time they have exercising, relaxing, or socializing with friends and family. With all this being said, I'd like to introduce you to Courtney. She is a 31-year-old young millennial pursuing a career in sales. She doesn't have any children and she lives a very active lifestyle in Washington, D.C. Courtney is motivated by success in her demanding career, focusing on her health and wellness, and spending time with loved ones and making smart financial decisions. And like many other millennials, she wishes there were more than 24 hours in a day. During her downtime and commute, she alternates between listening to music on Spotify and catching up on her favorite news and comedy podcasts. And overall, Courtney balances her long work days with family, friends, exercising, and eating well. Along with 31% of millennials who are currently subscribed to subscription boxes and another 38% who plan to subscribe in the next 6 months, Courtney loves unboxing her Stitch Fix clothing subscription when it comes the second week of each month. Although she knows that it's coming in the mail, the unboxing experience adds some extra excitement to her day, and she loves and appreciates that the styles were customized just for her. In general, Courtney seeks out opportunities to customize as many parts of her life as she can. Next, Courtney, like many millennials, loves a good throwback. After she unboxes her Stitch Fix, she plops down on the couch to watch reruns of Friends or Will and Grace, and she really loves to reminisce on good memories from her childhood and can't believe that she's now the age of her parents when they had her. She loves watching shows like these because she finds the familiarity of the past very comforting. Courtney is also super close with her family. Like many millennials, she values daily communication with her parents and siblings via text and calls. And on a day like this, she'll text her mom about her great new outfits and follow up with pictures of her trying them on. The bottom line is, Courtney is a busy woman. She wakes up knowing her workday grind won't stop at 5 p.m., just like many millennials in a time of digital connectivity. Along with striving for work-life balance and career success, she has a limited budget for food, and she also has limited time to meal prep and eat during her workday break. In general, millennials like Courtney dedicate less time to eating meals than other generations, finding themselves purchasing more ready-to-eat foods. So, how's the view? Aside from running our focus groups and interviews with millennials, we also did a ton of social listening to further understand people like Courtney. Through our social listening, we discovered that people tend to prepare their lean cuisine when they don't have the time or energy to cook a big, fancy meal. An example here is this Instagram post with the caption, "Didn't feel up to cooking today, at Lean Cuisine to the rescue with fettuccine." Here are some more examples of that same sentiment taken from Instagram and Facebook, where customers are relying on their low-calorie lean cuisines that they can even add to or customize. These Instagram posts were gathered from millennial users who are talking about trying to eat better and lean cuisine being a part of their journey. We found that they tend to buy other healthy sides like grapes, veggie chips, and guacamole alongside their lean cuisines, clearly prioritizing this healthy lifestyle. A lot of millennials experience these types of days, as we've seen on some of our social channels like Instagram and Twitter. We see this continued theme of either relaxing with lean cuisine, adding a healthy side to it, or using it as a quick, easy meal after a long, busy day. Here at Nestle, we pride ourselves in lean cuisine being a familiar and trustworthy legacy brand, and we're proud of our brand recognition in the frozen meal space. However, we haven't evolved much since our founding. Frozen foods in general, such as fish sticks and veggie burgers, can be customized, as seen with Dr. Prager's and Tyson. A frozen meal brand such as Amy's, one of Lean Cuisine's biggest competitors, provides a ready-to-serve prepared meal, but has never excelled in the customization aspect. Looking at our other closest competitors, Healthy Choice comes in a pre-made bowl, so most people aren't customizing that, and Smart Ones offers a product line only half the size of ours. Considering this, we see an opportunity for branding towards customization in the frozen meal space. It has yet to be tackled, but we are excited for the challenge, which would move us into the flexible quadrant. So we think that lean cuisine can excel and stand out in this space, offering customization as well as the familiarity of the established legacy brand that it is. Customization was seen as a top new trend among millennials when it came to food, according to a package facts report noted by the Washington Post. Customization is huge when it comes to millennials' decisions surrounding foods. Millennials crave to make their own creations and to diversify their diets. Courtney can customize her lean cuisine to get a whole new flavor experience. So consider our target, Courtney. She can only take 30 to 40 minutes for lunch at work each day. Each morning, she prepares this turkey sandwich and apple because she thinks she doesn't have time to prepare a more well-rounded or fancier lunch, nor does she have the budget to pick up lunch from a place down the street. What Courtney has yet to learn is that lean cuisine can help her have a balanced and affordable lunch that she can prepare in under 10 minutes. She can throw a Vermont cheddar mac and cheese lean cuisine in the microwave and combine it with some microwavable frozen vegetables or leftover shrimp or chicken from dinner earlier in the week. So by adding lean cuisine to her life, Courtney can switch up her daily lunch routine and have fun doing it, getting creative and combining her favorite lean cuisines with whatever she wants. So how are we going to do it? As we age, we all develop fond memories of our younger days, from the food we ate to the games we played and even the music we listened to. When we tap into these strong memories, it provokes emotional responses and can drive customers to act. A lot of millennials are either just beginning to adult or becoming a parent and adulting in a different way. And sometimes with all this newfound responsibility, it's comforting to throw it back to when they were a kid and things were so simple. That's why we plan to use nostalgia marketing in our campaign. Whether millennials grew up seeing their mothers or teachers eating lean cuisine, or remember popping it into the microwave between classes years ago as a freshman in college, millennials can all find a connection to or a memory of lean cuisine. We want to capitalize on our brand recognition and the legacy of the brand with nostalgia marketing because it is so big and impactful with millennials right now. It's tapping into positive cultural memories from previous decades designed to drive energy to modern campaigns. According to Forbes, reliving positive memories and beloved icons from the past feels good, and that leaves us open to brand messaging. Nostalgia marketing even connects millennials to their parents. According to the book Millennials, 77% of millennials confirm that they seek their parents' advice on a regular basis. And recent studies from Oxford show that nearly 99% of parents had contact with a grown child in the past week, and over 50% of parents had contact with a grown child every day. As we discussed earlier, Courtney talks to her mom every day. Millennials are also rewatching shows that they watched with their parents growing up and are now reminded of those great memories while watching these reboots. There were 31 TV reboots in the works just in 2019 alone. When it comes to Courtney, she and her mom are rewatching all of Friends, and they both watch an episode each night at 8 and then text and debrief afterwards. Another great part about nostalgia marketing is that it doesn't isolate lean cuisine's already established older demographic. They resonate with this type of marketing because they too enjoy taking a stroll down memory lane. So why does this matter? Why does nostalgia marketing resonate with millennials specifically? A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that nostalgic feelings made millennials more willing to spend money on consumer goods. In a time when most marketing focuses heavily on the future, it transports millennials back to a similar place where their current problems don't matter and the hustle and bustle of modernity just melts away. Instead of anticipating the next great thing, nostalgia marketing urges them to focus on the things they already know are great. And in an age of impersonal digital media, nostalgia marketing gives us a platform to connect deeper with our customers, both new and old. A specific example of successful nostalgia marketing includes in 2019 when Pizza Hut brought back its old red roof logo that was used from 1967 to 1999, along with its witty and modern tagline, "No one out-pizzas the Hut." Another example is when just last year, the 80s inspired Netflix show Stranger Things worked with the Coca-Cola marketing team, incorporating the new Coke into the 1985 storyline of a simpler and more imaginative time. Relating our legacy brand to nostalgic feelings connects us deeper to millennials and hopefully in turn makes them more open to our brand messaging and more likely to join the lean cuisine customer base. So now I'll hand it over to Julia, who will explain what all of this means going forward.
Thanks, Sabrina. So what now? Taking all these findings into account, we have come up with one main conclusion. Millennials crave to balance their active lifestyles and diets, so they seek to find versatility in what they eat in order to savor every moment. So whether it's a jam-packed Monday or a more relaxed Friday, Courtney and other millennials are looking for versatile meals that they can put their own personal twist on, whatever their day may be looking like. As a brand, we believe the essence of lean cuisine is encapsulated in these four words. Lean cuisine is a sensible choice because it is quick, practical, and fits into Courtney's busy lifestyle. Lean cuisine also allows consumers to incorporate versatility in both their meals and their day-to-day activities. In addition, lean cuisine provides feelings of comfort and independence by always being there for Courtney when she's in a time crunch, and it shows through the warmer color schemes and welcoming tones in their brand messaging. As a legacy brand, lean cuisine continuously reminds Courtney to be appreciative of the simpler times to savor life's little moments. We believe that these words describe where the brand is currently and captures where we believe the brand will go through our campaign. So from this, we have come up with unbox and rewind. If you have a packed day, you can rewind time with your lean cuisine and savor those precious moments millennials are always trying to find. You can always rewind with the lean cuisine as we take a trip down memory lane and reminisce on what we truly love about the earlier decades. We believe that we can leverage lean cuisine's position as a legacy brand to incorporate our customization ideas as well as our modernized retro themes throughout our campaign. So, what does unbox and rewind really mean? We want consumers like Courtney to have a positive experience when unboxing their lean cuisine. When conducting ethnographic research, we have found that interviewees reported feelings of excitement when unboxing their products, even when they know what's inside. Lean Cuisine wants to take advantage of this aspect and generate desirable unboxing experiences for our consumers. They can add to their experience by putting their own personalized twist on their Lean Cuisine meals. We also want to focus on the versatile concept of rewind. We believe that millennials can rewind 4 minutes or even 4 decades. Lean Cuisine allows consumers like Courtney to save time and gain back precious moments of their busy day. Another interviewee stated that rewinding the time it takes to prepare meals would be nice, and eating a Lean Cuisine provides them with that extra time. Through prior research, we also believe that incorporating ideas and trends from earlier decades, such as the 80s, will collect millennials with their appreciation for nostalgia and earlier times. So now we're going to unbox our creative ideas. As you can see here, we have created some social posts we feel would be very relatable to Courtney. To appeal to millennials, Lean Cuisine will begin using social media heavily to display healthier lifestyles, being achieved through their Lean Cuisine meals. Currently, Lean Cuisine's social media platform strictly posts pictures of their products. Going forward, Lean Cuisine's social media platforms will have pictures of Lean Cuisine eaters enjoying their meals. We feel that incorporating users like Courtney on our feed, as well as combining a modern minimalist style with an iconic retro theme, will provide both a retro and more personalized feel to our social accounts. We also will begin a social media campaign with the hashtag #micromoment as a fun way to engage with consumers and encourage them to give themselves a micro moment of their day to sit back, take a deep breath, and enjoy their microwavable Lean Cuisine meal. And of course, to post on our social media to share with their friends. Here are some screenshots of what our Instagram profile would look like. We are still using the signature Lean Cuisine orange colors, but now utilizing photos of millennials with their Lean Cuisine, as well as promoting some customization ideas. We've also created a Spotify playlist that can be accessed through our story highlights. This is a playlist of our favorite throwbacks from the past that allows our consumers to savor a moment of relaxation and look back on the simpler times. We also plan to promote Lean Cuisine to our target market through radio, podcasts, and music streaming services. Each week, millennials listen to about 18.8 hours of audio. We have found that millennials, such as Courtney, are always on the move, driving from place to cater to their busy schedules. We chose Spotify specifically because 72% of users are millennials. Next, I'm going to talk about the audio ads that the creatives have made. Some of our best audio ads have distinct sounds that identify the brand, an example being Taco Bell sound. We want Lean Cuisine's audio ads to be unique to the brand, so we decided to incorporate the familiar sound of the microwave that everyone can relate to. This attention-grabbing sound throughout the ad will be memorable, making the messaging more effective as well as highlighting Lean Cuisine's functionality. Since there is no need to meal prep or plan, here's an example of what the ad would sound like.
Time is precious, and I'm always trying to make the most of it in my hectic life. With Lean Cuisine, I'm able to rewind time with the touch of a button. Sometimes I get to have the time to go on a run, and other times I get to catch up on my emails. No matter how big or small, Lean Cuisine gives me that gift while eating a well-balanced meal. Unbox and rewind with Lean Cuisine.
That is future voiceover talent if I ever heard it.
Okay, so moving on, the frozen food aisles in grocery stores can be overwhelmingly crowded with choices. From our research, we realized that people don't think about frozen meals when they go to grocery stores. Furthermore, there are variables such as lighting being off and shelves not being fully stocked, which are all out of Lean Cuisine's control, but can still negatively affect sales. To counteract this, we want to do something that draws consumers into the Lean Cuisine section. Therefore, going off of pop culture moments from the 80s and 90s, we have created pop-on advertisements based off the popular throwback sitcoms Seinfeld and Friends. By incorporating these memories from when millennials were younger, we are hoping to bring back familiarity to the brand in a fun way. Now, I'm going to hand it off to Stephen to talk about the rest of the creative ideas.
Thanks, Julia. So we've created a lateral print ad that ties together our entire campaign. On the left half, we have our modern day millennial opening her box of Lean Cuisine. Just like our Instagram, it's important that we don't seem outdated, so rather than having a vintage-inspired millennial on the right, we have a retro-inspired millennial who's rewinding time and customizing her Vermont white cheddar mac and cheese with tuna, tomatoes, and greens. Although it's not pictured, we would like to add something like a cutting board with freshly chopped vegetables to the right half to further emphasize customization. We've also designed this ad with the intention of being able to create multiple iterations with each one showcasing Lean Cuisine's variety. Ideally, we would like to see this published in magazines like People, Time, and Cosmopolitan, as they are the most popular print sources for millennials. Next, I'd like to show you our concept for a commercial. With TV being the second most effective channel for advertising to millennials, we've created a TV ad that shows a large contrast between the time that goes into cooking a meal versus someone who incorporates Lean Cuisine into their life. As you can see, the latter is getting to rewind time and replace the tasks above with things like working out, catching up on work, and spending time with family, all while still having time to customize her Lean Cuisine. We are further driving the idea that unboxing a Lean Cuisine is unboxing the gift of time. Moving on to the packaging, we've created versatile messages on the film packaging of each Lean Cuisine, providing our consumers with mindful messages that truly encourage them to unbox, rewind, and personalize their Lean Cuisine. For example, messages say savor life's little moments or mix and make it your own. These are just a few of the standardized messages that will be alternated when unboxing the Lean Cuisine. And to further customize the unboxing experience for consumers, we would like to partner with BuzzFeed's Tasty to include Tasty Tip recipe cards within each box. The Tasty Tip recipe cards provide customers with the option of relying on the classic ease of unboxing and microwaving a Lean Cuisine, or unboxing and customizing their Lean Cuisine to suit their individual micro moments. So they can keep it simple or spice things up and make something like a lettuce wrap with sweet sriracha braised beef. Consumers can also find their new favorite Lean Cuisine recipes by following the links attached to our corresponding social posts. For the next item of our campaign, we've created free promotional Lean Cuisine cooler sleeves for consumers purchasing 6 or more Lean Cuisines at a time. This will be a limited time promotion that will not only provide value to the consumer, but also brand recognition for Lean Cuisine. So when Courtney is ready to walk out the door in the morning, she can slip her Lean Cuisine into the sleeve with confidence that it will stay chilled for her throughout the day. The sleeves incorporate retro designs that appeal to our target market, while also allowing consumers to give it a personalized touch. For example, consumers can write their name on the cassette tape sleeve, or they can color in the black and white design toward the right. We believe this will be a good promotional tool to grasp the attention of potential customers that are constantly on the go, letting them know that Lean Cuisine fits into their lifestyle. To dive deeper into the lifestyle of our consumers, we would like to partner with an influencer who's known for customization, which is why we are interested in YouTuber Mr. Kate. Mr. Kate works as a full-time interior designer in which she and her husband Joey create YouTube videos of them redesigning the spaces of their clients, which are typically other influencers. Not only is the act of interior designing fully personalizing a space, but Mr. Kate takes it a step further as she always utilizes DIY projects to create custom artwork with her clients. When designing, she's frequently seen rewinding as she depends on thrift shops and antique stores to find one-of-a-kind pieces. Mr. Kate's YouTube channel has 4 million subscribers, however, she's always collabing with other influencers, some of which you can see on the right. Notice how some of these influencers have upwards of 18 million subscribers, most of which will cross over to Mr. Kate's channel to watch the collabs. If Lean Cuisine were to sponsor a Mr. Kate video, she would give a product demonstration and read from a supplied script explaining the customizable elements of Lean Cuisine, all while reaching millions of potential customers. And we have one last component of our campaign, our unique Lean Cuisine bus stop waiting stations. Here, Lean Cuisine has used their ad space in a way that resembles a microwave, bringing a little warmth into the life of busy commuters during cold winter months. We will be including heating lamps in these bus stations for those who are unboxing their day as they wait for the bus. Furthermore, we would like to implement custom side panels that showcase the micro moments consumers are sharing across their socials. Memorable physical advertisements like this increase brand awareness and therefore consideration by customers. So last up, we have Kenzie, who's taking over now with the recap.
Thanks, Stephen. So you've walked a whole day in Courtney's shoes, and before you take them off, you should know that she's loving her new versatile retro Lean Cuisine sleeve. Her afternoon breaks now consist of her head bopping to I Want to Dance with Somebody, which leads her to thinking back to her high school prom, where she appreciates her mom making that way too puffy pink dress. Her head is in a mindful and sensible place as she's taken little breaths throughout the day to slow down, thanks to her Lean Cuisine packaging. Courtney rewinded her day, and now we invite you to rewind with us and take Lean Cuisine above the rest. Thank you, and we now open up the floor to questions.
Bravo, you guys.
Great job.
That
You can
was
all
awesome.
clap on mute, yes.
I was doing it.
I loved all the different diverse types of like media and advertisements that you guys put in that. I was blown away. The bus stop, the podcast, everything. Great job.
Yeah, I have to echo that. I think your marketing mix was really smart. You obviously focused on traditional, but then there's also elements of non-traditional, like the branded partnerships and the influencer relations. So again, I thought your channel mix made sense.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have 2 questions for you guys. Can we go to questions? Does that work? Okay, awesome. So in terms of campaign timing, did you guys ever talk about when you would launch all of this? If there was a moment or a season that made sense for the brand and your target demographic?
Nicole and Julia, I know they didn't speak on this presentation, but they can absolutely speak to this. They are 2 members of my activation team, and their strategy was actually to create an entire schedule of when all of the activations would be put out. So if they have anything to add to that, they're more than welcome to speak on that.
Yes, hi, I'm Nicole. Like Toby said, I'm in activation. I hold the activation role, and through the course of our class, we developed a media plan. So for each individual creative or activation that we developed, we have a time schedule for that. Relatively, so when we were going through and collecting our research on when the brand is like most looked up or something to that effect, we believe that earlier in like right before the start of the new year, so whether that's in December for some of the activations or in that early January month, we found that that was a very relevant time to start advertising or heavily pushing our activations, as well as right in the beginning of the summertime. So we were thinking that maybe that had to do with somebody trying to maybe appear well maybe for their summer body or start their New Year's resolutions in the January timeframe. So there was kind of where we focused, where we would push our activation the most. But then again, it does differentiate between which activation, like depending upon the activation. So for example, the microwave bus stop, depending on that geographic location and how long those winter months would be, that would be like a different time frame, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that makes total sense. Thank you. And my second question I had for you guys, and I know most of you have heard me say this probably 10 times by now, but taste credibility is a huge thing because it's a food product and you want people to believe that it tastes good rather than just telling people it tastes good. Have you guys thought about what sort of sampling opportunities you would propose or how you may evolve some of the in-store stuff to get product into people's hands and to actually have them taste Lean Cuisine?
Yep, so I can speak on this and then I can always pass it off to Stephen if you have anything else to add. But we did think about a lot of these kind of like tasting sampling ideas, and we kept going back to Costco and kind of how Costco did it. I know a lot of people just kind of go to Costco to get their like lunch or their dinner sometimes because there's so many samples along the way. So I think two of our things that we were thinking of is one, you can always go in store and go just kind of like right by the freezers and have a bookend at the end of your local Wegmans or Kroger's. So that is another kind of partnership way that you could go. Or you can always go big scale as well and do something within like Grand Central Station or another big city where you're just handing out freebies. And also you can include like a sustainable fork with it or a sustainable like spoon as well that they can kind of like have that will remind them of Lean Cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
But we did think through that. It did not make it into the deck, but it is definitely something that I know we talked about with the brand team for a long while.
Awesome. Those are my questions, but I just wanted to say again, you guys did an awesome job. The story I think was really nice, like following along the entire time, and just I know like presenting like this is so tricky. So again, bravo, you guys did that flawlessly. And the other thing I wanted to say too, I loved the cooler sleeves. I thought that was super creative and it really leaned into the nostalgia that you guys had referenced. So I really liked that touch. I thought that was really different.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Let me start with the creative because I think there is a bright future for those of you who want to pursue advertising careers. There's a bright future for you guys. Honestly, like the variety of the activations, mostly in store is like a throwaway for most brand marketers. Like we're like, all right, yeah, just give me a picture of the food. Let's call it a day. It was really creative. The print was beautiful. The print was truly beautiful. Like print is a fun medium. People have to get it right away. Like it's people have to get it right away. And like I got this right away. You didn't have to explain it to me at all. I totally understood it. Absolutely beautiful print. I love the sleeves as well. The microwave, like the sort of experiential on the microwave of the bus stop was super creative. Like creative, I mean, honestly, you hit it out of the park from a creative perspective. And then another positive, just from like the earlier sort of strategy insight side, I really like the social listening. I think it's an easy thing generally to do, but what I liked about it was you're sort of establishing a behavior that already exists versus having to create a behavior. So I like really appreciate you sort of laying out the evidence that this behavior exists and you want to activate against it. And I really love the 2x2. Like, listen, MBAs and like grad school folks, like they love 2x2s. They're like really easy to understand. And I sort of keyed on that as like a jumping off point for the overall strategy going forward. It was so powerful that I got it. And I think, and this is where I sort of transitioned into feedback or questions is, so I'm leaving that 2x2 as customization is sort of the insight, like the social listening leads you to the 2x2. And like, that's where I want to take everything. And then I came out with the activation as sort of two creative pillars, this nostalgia piece, and then this customization piece. You can make an argument, I don't know if those go together. If I think about nostalgia or if I think about like throwback, that's almost antithetical to customization, right? Like it is fixed. It's fixed in time. It's fixed in the past. It sort of is what it is. I might make an argument that those things are sort of at odds with one another. It's okay. It can work. It just, that was sort of my first reaction is like, all right, I hear customization on the product strategy and based on this insight, but then this nostalgia then lead me there. I get why you did it, right? Because you're trying to like capture some emotion in this. But those things together, I would just maybe wonder about like how you guys thought about what wins here. Is nostalgia winning or is customization winning? And then the last question I have, and you can answer that, and then the last question I have is specifically on the customization. I know you guys did some really creative stuff. I like the tasty, yeah, it's BuzzFeed, the tasty like cards that go in the meals that maybe help people customize. But what is the value prop for the consumer? I think about, you said in the upfront, again, if I'm just connecting strategy to activation, you said in the upfront, these people are time crunched. And I get that customization is a real thing, but all you sort of do is create more work for them, right? Like you're saying, all right, I'm time crunched, and now you have to go customize. You know, how could you, did you think about how you could maybe help them a little further other than just giving them the direction to do it? Because I think a lot of food brands do this, right? Like they give you the direction, but does that really help me? Like, is that really a good value proposition for me? how could you further help me? So those are the two things. Maybe like how nostalgia versus customization won out, and then have you thought about further like how you could maybe help the consumer in the customization journey?
Yeah, so I can touch on that a little bit and just let me know after if I like cover everything that you asked appropriately. But kind of in the first sense of it, talking about like the retro versus customization, that was definitely like a discussion we had for a long time. And like we can see where the contradictory piece comes from that. But I think one of the things you're talking about in discussion of brand essence was almost like the concept of modern traditionalism to some sense, where it would be like that retro piece. And the whole point of the nostalgia marketing is to connect with your parents, be reminded that you ate lean cuisine or that they ate lean cuisine growing up, and like the idea of nostalgia marketing as being relevant, but kind of putting the modern twist on that. So like the reboot of Gilmore Girls or like the reboots of certain shows is kind of like taking what you knew and like capitalizing on that in a new and updated way. So that's kind of like the concept of taking what lean cuisine was, but making it more updated in the modern way of like now customization is a whole new opportunity that hadn't really been capitalized or touched upon in the past. So that was kind of like where they were bridged together, is that like nostalgia was definitely a piece we were touching on, but wanted to like update it in a new and modernized way, if that makes sense. And then the other piece, just like making, so, and this was something we talked about a lot in like our consumer insights presentation, the fact that it's almost like you can picture the millennial consumer experiencing two different days, where like that first day would be you barely have a second to pop your lean cuisine in the microwave, and like that's just the only moment that you get to eat that whole day. And the other day is like maybe this is your weekend lunch where you don't feel like cooking, or you have a little extra time in your day, or you want to prioritize like your meal prep that week or something. And that is kind of the whole idea of the customization, where lean cuisine, I think like dependability was one of the brand essence words, where lean cuisine can be there for you on those quick days where you don't have the time to customize, but on the days where you're like, okay, I've eaten my mac and cheese like 100 times over, I want to add something new to it, or I have leftovers from last night, or I have a couple extra minutes in my day, like that's where you get the opportunity to have even more options. And we're kind of just like providing the tip to the consumer by throwing that extra card in the thing with you. I know we also had a discussion about like even having an extra kit with like broccoli or something that you could throw in. That was like a discussion too. So it's like, obviously you're not forced to do the customization, but it's a whole nother way that you can look at lean cuisine if you're looking for more variety to it.
Yeah, no, listen, that totally makes sense. And I don't want to, questions to come across as like this thing fell apart. Like I really, again, I think it really was solid start to finish. I think when you think my takeaway for you, for your careers now, because this is fun for classroom stuff. You really this is where you're thinking about, what am I going to do in my job? What am I going to do in my career? You just had like, what is it, like 45 minutes with us to take us through this. And I have questions around, well, is it nostalgia? Is it customization? Is it like, think about having 30 seconds or 15 seconds with a consumer, and they got to take away what you're trying to tell them in that amount of time. And think about focusing all of this down to 15 seconds or 6 seconds, and whatever that time frame is that you have to get an ad across in your value prop, whatever it is. So like, great job. Actually, when you think about like that singularity around message, around like, what do I want the consumer to take away around what I'm trying to do? So awesome job.
Thank you.
All right, great job, Captivate and Healthy Valley Co. I think now we're going to switch over to the second team.
Thanks, Rachel.
Go ahead and share my feedback in your surveys as you're filling them out.
Yeah, can I also ask, while the second team is setting up, if team one, do you have your QR code for the playlist? Can you put that